do you ever notice that the more attractive a guy is, the funnier a guy is, and the smarter the guy is, and the more athletic a guy is, the less likely it is that he's single? Like 8 times out of 10, he's not single. But if you flip it, like the funnier the girl is, the smarter the girl is, the more attractive the girl is, the more athletic the girl is, like 8 times out of 10, she is single. Like, you ever,
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like women don't date down. Okay, you got all these ladies out here saying, how come the smart, successful, independent women who are highly attractive, right? How come they don't have boyfriends and husbands and stuff like that? These girls don't want to date someone that, in their view, is below them. Oh, he earns less money? No, thank you. Oh, he's shorter than me? No, thank you. Right? And these girls want to turn around and say, oh, men don't want to, I don't have a boyfriend because I intimidate men. They're just scared to step up and commit to a real woman. Right? A lot of times it's because, girls don't want to date dudes who earn less money than them. Okay, and the thing is, like, if you're a strong, independent career woman as well, chances are men don't want to date you either. But what is going on, guys? It is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we're going to be going through some videos that you gentlemen have sent into the show. But before we do, guys, if you're new here, you're liking the videos, make sure you subscribe on your way in. And if you are interested in supporting the channel, make sure you check out the locals link in the description. It's totally free to join, and there also is a support option if you're interested. But guys, we're just going to be jumping right into today's videos.
In my last relationship, I was so needy, and I look back on that time in my life and I cringe because I really did not have a life outside of this relationship. It was one of those relationships where things moved really quickly. We met, we said we love each other, we moved in together, all within a matter of like a month. I was in college and I felt really empty. I didn't know what I wanted out of life. So when I met him, he filled this void in my life and he became my entire world, and I was his world too. Obviously, we all transitioned out of that honeymoon phase at some point, and when we did, our relationship took a turn for the worse, and it was a very, very traumatic time in my life. Among many things I learned from this relationship, one of the most important things that I took with me was that I needed to have something else that I loved, something else that meant the world to me that wasn't connected to my relationship. Because until you find yourself, you're going to look for those missing pieces inside of you in somebody else, and you'll never find them.
Until you find yourself. Gentlemen, I can't count the amount of times that we've heard that, right? These ladies they need to go and find themselves. They need to do some personal growth. And a lot of times, but not all the time, but a lot of times what this actually means is they just need to go out and find some more dudes, right? The excitement's gone, and they've done some, they need to do some personal growth, right? And they need to travel and go see Chad in a different country. Now, we don't know this girl's particular circumstances, guys. However, what I will say is this. Ladies who break up their relationships and, who say that they have terrible relationships and now that they've parted ways, their excuse is, well, their reasoning is, oh, it's because I need to grow as a person. A lot of these girls will use healing as a deflection for literally anything. Right, so let me just give you guys another example. Girls will say, oh, I've done my healing, so I know what I deserve now. And what they're going to go and do is they're going to go and choose a guy, make him wait for the bedroom fun, or lure him in, right, and get into marriage and long-term commitments and stuff like that, just fully manipulating him. Right, girls don't go through like a healing phase. They're still going to be attracted to the same dudes that they're attracted to, slightly different as they get older, of course, right? But all this stuff about doing self-healing and all this, spiritual language, guys, it really is just a lot of times code for going out and seeing more dudes. Let's continue on to the next video.
What they're doing is wait till you bitches hear this one. You can stop being down about the guy who ghosted or the guy that's just not that into you, because here's the tea. People want what they're familiar with, even if what they're familiar with hurts them or isn't good for them. If their parent was distant and this parent hurt them, guess who the fuck kind of people they're going to be attracted to? Distant people is now their type.
I mean, this has an element of truth to it, guys. Like, because this is what you see when people grow up in families without, particularly, like, I'll use girls as an example, right? When girls grow up without fathers in their lives, they tend to be more deviant, shall we say, right? They end up working jobs in which a pole is involved, and stuff like this, okay? And men without fathers involved, it's not uncommon for them to end up in jail or in the judicial system somehow. People want to pretend as though being raised by a single parent, particularly a single mother, is somehow a blessing, right? It's somehow a good thing. But what a lot of what's happening right now is men are being kicked out of society and out of families like absolute crazy, and people want to pretend like nothing's happening. Okay, and what this actually means is that the children, they don't have a positive male role model in their life, and if you ask the single mothers, it's because he's a deadbeat dad. Let's not get our lines, our wires crossed here, guys. A lot of men are being kicked out of families and stuff like that, not because they're deadbeats or anything, just because the woman doesn't want them there. Women can get married to you, literally take your all your assets and your kids, and then claim you're a deadbeat after the fact. Okay, I don't buy this whole he's a deadbeat. Yes, there are dudes out there who won't stick around for their kid, but a lot of men very much care about their offspring and how they're raised. Okay, so but this is going to get a lot worse, is what I'm trying to say here, right? You want to kick men out of the picture? Girls are not going to make good dating decisions. They're just not.
We're going to go for the same characteristics of the parent that hurt them. What they're doing is subconsciously trying to prove to their ego that they're worthy of love, and they can redo the exact same relationship they had with the parent that hurt them, but this time master the situation. This time have love.
Another way of looking at this is that women want men to change, and then they get mad when they do. Okay, I'm sure if any of you gentlemen have been in a long-term relationship, right, you will know that if you sit there and you continue to try giving the girl the world, it's not going to work out for you well. A lot of times it's going to get a lot worse. You're not going to be respected. If you have kids together, there's a good chance that they turn on you too, especially if they spend more time with their mother while you're out working and stuff like that. We got so many dudes just absolutely breaking their back in relationships trying to make things work. And ironically enough, it's because the dudes are trying to make things work that it's not working out. A lot of these girls, they don't appreciate stability. They need it, but they're not attracted to it. They don't respect it. Right? Because in order to, a lot of these dudes who are providing these girls stability, they know that they're not worth the stability, right? They're not worth a hard-working man. What the hell do they do? A lot of these girls, man, I'm just going to be straight up here, particularly with the single mothers and stuff like that. They're not out here working, terribly difficult jobs, if at all, especially if they're a single mother. They want to talk about, okay, well, I did all this around the house. Where's your input? Meanwhile, the guy's paying all the bills in the damn house. Okay, there's just there's so many things wrong with this discussion, right? And it all seems to be laid at the feet of men. But let's just continue.
Equate love with distance. And here's the greatest thing. Although they're not aware of what they're doing and can't heal this pattern until they're aware, feel it, and then heal it,
I'm just going to put it out there. I truly think that a lot of these women who are attracted to bad boys, guys, shall we say, guys who are not interested in them as a result of their family upbringing or otherwise, nothing's going to be fixed about it. These girls who get in marriages and say that they've done their healing and they know their worth and stuff like that now, they're still attracted to the same dudes that they were. The dudes might look slightly different because now the girls are older, and girls typically prefer a man who's a little bit older than them, right? But the behavior is still the same. They're still attracted to the bad boys. This is just what they tell the dudes that they get into relationships after the fact. Right? They're like, oh yeah, I've done my healing, I've found myself and all that kind of crap. And then they will use that same justification to then go and, to go and get with other dudes. Oh, I need to do some more healing, right?
You can know that it's not you. And it's not that personal. It shouldn't be your type anyway.
Yeah, so let's just cap that off, right? So she says the reason you're getting ghosted is basically because of other people's unsolved childhood issues. How about let's just look at it another way, right? Maybe she's getting ghosted because people don't want to talk to her. Right? Now, we don't know this lady. We don't know her very well at all. Obviously, this is just a TikTok guy, so don't go sending her bad messages or anything like that. Let's just look at this, okay? If she's getting ghosted, her thought process is, oh, it must be the result of someone else's childhood upbringing. It couldn't be me. It couldn't be my behavior in the relationship. It has to be someone else. That's just a crazy worldview, isn't it, guys? It's almost like the whole objective of these videos is for people to take accountability away from themselves. That's crazy. Let's continue.
What your favorite color says about your love life. If your favorite color is black, you are secretive and mysterious, and you never give away too much. You do this so that you can protect yourself from getting hurt, and it's really difficult for you to show your emotions. Orange, you are very spontaneous and you believe in the power of intuition and going with one's gut. Your positive outlook on life helps you continue to keep searching for the one. Purple, you are very artistic and unique, and you're often interested in spirituality and the deeper meaning of life. You notice the little details, and you're always observing and analyzing everything. You can be a little moody, but that's only because you experience and feel everything deeply.
This is, you know, when you look at girls giving each other relationship advice, you know, it's like, boy, is it terrible. I can't really word it any other way, okay? Now, the funny part is, like, even when girls give correct advice to one another, it's not like they listen, right? You will get girls who will sit in groups, right? And they'll all be dating or seeing dudes that are not interested in them, and they'll say, girl, you're worth more, queen, right? You know, you shouldn't put up with that behavior. And then they'll all tell, you know, they'll all say that to each other, and none of them will listen to each other. And then we move, on to the next bit of advice, which we're looking at color psychology theory. Okay, and girls, like, you know, when we talk about rocks and, you know, crystals and all that kind of stuff and astrology, right? Girls take this crap very seriously. Like, you would be surprised how much weight they put in absolute BS like this. And a lot of times when they talk about red flags and all this kind of stuff, like, oh, a dude's a red flag, and then they give you like a really obscure reason or really obscure reasoning, right? So it's like, oh, it's a red flag if he wears like this one particular item of clothing, and then you think to yourself, well, that is just the stupidest thing ever. And the reason you think that is because it is the stupidest thing ever. Like, you're not alone in thinking that when these girls list these things off as if they actually mean anything, man. And usually it's because they've dated a guy who hasn't committed to them who had that item of clothing. You see what I'm saying? But let's continue on to the next video.
Okay, dating tip number 2. Ignore the frames, by the way. Long story. Dating tip number 2. No sleepovers. I don't care if it's 2 a.m. and you're exhausted, you are getting in that car and you are driving yourself home and you are waking up in your own bed. I don't care if you've been drinking, you will call an Uber, you will call a friend, you are not staying at that man's house. Notice that I said his house, not your house, because he is not coming over to your house until you've had at least one sleepover at his house. And even then, reconsider inviting him over, okay? Your place is a sacred space. I don't care if I get hate for this. Notice that I didn't say no sex. I just said no sleepovers, okay? Sleepovers are a little bit more intimate than sex, or they can be. My opinion. Just something a little bit more special about waking up next to someone in the morning. Them seeing you in the morning, you seeing them in the morning. Save it for someone that you really like and someone that you see it going somewhere with, okay? Trust me on this one.
Save it for someone you see it going somewhere with. You know, I wonder how many ladies take that advice. All right, and you know, as I say that, I'm just looking to the right of the video where the comments are just off screen here, guys, if you can see my cursor. And I'm looking at literally the second comment that I see right here is sleepovers for a year and he wasn't ready for a relationship, and then it's followed by some clown emojis. You know, something really funny about this is that, you know, girls will do these sleepovers, right, shall we say, and the dudes are not in relationships with these girls. The dudes aren't even expressing an interest in relationships with these women, and yet they're still going over having sleepover dates. Not dates, excuse me. They're still going over, you know, seeing one another for 20 minutes at a time. And that's something as well, you know, towards the end, she brought up the fact that, you know, it's not even because of the bedroom fun, it's just the fact that you're waking up next to someone, right? Something that's very interesting about relationships and stuff like that, guys, is the fact that girls care way more about, you know, emotional investment, okay? And let me give you guys an example so I can, like, be a bit more clear here. Let's just say you're in a relationship with a girl and you're in a relationship with her for 1 year, okay? And you guys break up, and let's just say within 2 weeks, you're with another girl, okay? Let's just say during your first relationship there that went for that year, you never took her out for a date, you didn't spend money on her, that sort of thing, right? And now let's just say that the girl that you're seeing, you know, merely 2 weeks after, the first time you hang out with her, you decide to buy a nice dinner with her, and then what you do is you take a photo of that dinner that you bought her and you put it on your Instagram story, and the first girl saw it. What's going to happen is that first girl is going to be very pissed. You know, she's going to feel very hurt by that, because what you've done is you've invested in someone that isn't her. Girls care so much about where the investment is going, way more than physical intimacy. Guys, we're the other way around. right? If our girl holds hands with someone, you better believe she's not your girl anymore. Well, she never was anyway, let's be clear, gentlemen, but, you know, physical intimacy matters a lot more to men. Girls care more about, okay, where are the indicators of where the resources are going? You know, let me give you guys another example. Let's just say, you know, you're with a girlfriend or something like that, and you get a gift for another woman. It is not uncommon for that to piss off the girl that you're with, if that makes sense. But I think I've made the point there, so let's continue on to the next video.
Do you ever get jealous with your partner? Try this. Let me preface this with, my fiance is an amazing man and I trust him completely. And I'm a fairly confident person, but here's the deal. We're human beings and there's going to be times we get jealous. So I implemented this. You and your partner come up with a code word. Doesn't matter what it is. Let's say you're out and there's an interaction happening between your partner and somebody else that makes you feel a little uncomfortable or you're a little jealous of. You simply go over to your partner, whisper the code word in their ear, and that's it. The person saying the code word doesn't say like, oh, you're such a flirt, you know, you don't criticize, you don't attack, nothing. As a person,
You know, this is something that'll never work, all right? Oh, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a code word, and then when one of us says that to the other, it means that they need to cut off any flirting that's going on. That's just absolutely not going to work. Okay, and the hilarious part is that these girls will deliberately select men that other women are interested in, and yet they will try and come up with methods and tactics to cut off that flirting. It comes with the territory. Okay, if these girls want to ignore the majority of men and go for the top, 5% of dudes, what's going to come with that is a hell of a lot of competition, and they think that they can just gate it out with a code word. Most men are not even going to listen. If, guys who have options are not even going to listen to the code word. They're probably going to forget or not even care what the hell she's on about. Right? And it's not going to solve any insecurity at all. It's probably going to make it worse, to be honest. And I want you to imagine the reverse of this, right? Let's just say if a man and a woman were in a relationship and the man was saying, oh, I don't like you talking to this person and that person, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a code word, and when I say it to you, you're not allowed to talk to other men. Do you think that's going to fly, guys, or do you think he's going to be called insecure and gaslit into oblivion because she just wants to hang out with her just friends, right?
person receiving that code word, I don't get defensive and say you're crazy, you're psycho, why do you always do this, why do you jump to conclusions? None of that. It simply avoids an argument. There's no discussion or dialogue about it. It just gives you guys an opportunity to turn towards each other. It feels good. And
how many times do you think that this lady's been called crazy in her life? Like by partners and stuff like that, or dudes that she's seeing? Now, I'm not calling her crazy before our YouTube overlords try and strike the channel, okay? I just wonder, when someone makes a video like this talking about code words to prevent other people from calling them crazy, you've got to ask yourself the question, how many times have they been called crazy, right?
And our code word is turquoise octopus. I don't know. It's a fun word to say.
I take that back. She's crazy. All right, let's go.
This is one of the darkest manipulation techniques that someone can use to make you fall in love with them. This is very toxic and I don't recommend using it, but I want you to be aware of it. And this is alternating pleasure with inflicting pain. So there is a 3-step formula where first you need to create a pattern of giving pleasure and validation. Then you need to break it. You need to pull away, be cold, be distant. So what this does, it makes the other person insecure and it makes them chase you because they...
Guys, before we continue with what she's explaining here, I'd just like to point out that if you're thinking that this is a bit disgusting, right, and like why would two people, why would someone do this to another person? Not to concern you guys, but this video, I just checked, it has 1.6 million likes on it, which means that it definitely has over, 7 million views at least. Okay, now when we talk about trying to make a relationship work in 2021, and millions upon millions of people are watching videos like this on how to manipulate and hurt one another, you've got to be kind of concerned about the direction of this sort of stuff. Right? And people want to say, Taylor, oh, you're too cynical, which is a very fair criticism, might I add. But look, there are a lot of people running around at the moment with the idea that, hey, what we're going to do is we're going to manipulate people into relationships, particularly men, right? We're going to manipulate a dude And, and the funny part, the really messed up part, right, is all these girls, they'll study manipulation, and girls are way better at manipulation by default anyway, okay? But they'll do all this manipulation to try and get dudes to do what they want. But then the moment he's doing what they want, they're not interested anyway. So what the hell was the point of even hurting you don't even get the result. All you do is these girls are like a dog chasing a tire, right? They just like, not to quote a movie here, guys, but they don't know what to do when they get it, right? Like they literally have no idea. They'll spend their entire life chasing bad boys, trying to change them one after the other, if they get any form of commitment at all, mind you, right? And then if they do manage to change the guy, well, he just gets kicked to the curb because now the butterflies are gone. Now the excitement's gone. Like, what the hell was even the point of all the manipulation? Like, even if you get the result that you quote unquote want, you don't even want the result. So
they want that validation. When you treat someone like shit, it makes their self-esteem go down. And the only thing that can make it go up again is you. So the third step is validating them again. Causing pain in a person makes them form an attachment to you, and it makes you unforgettable to them.
And the thing is that it does have an element of truth to it, right? That there is a lot of truth to that. These girls who have been out with, multiple dudes, right? And see multiple guys a week, go on Tinder dates, all that kind of stuff. The dudes that they remember are the ones that are described by that, really. Okay, a lot of these girls, when they get into relationships and stuff like that, they're not actually in the relationship. What's happened is they still quote unquote belong to the previous guy. But the guy that they actually, the word is imprinted. The guy that's imprinted them earlier, he's still in their head. A lot of men are in relationships at the moment, and they don't realize the fact that the woman's not really in the relationship with them. Not only is she typically looking out for something new to branch onto and to go to the next one, but she, the guy before you, or maybe a few guys ago, he's in her head, right? And it's not always for positive reasons. Like, these girls want to blow it up as if, oh well, the guys that I remember, the guys that I care about, they're the ones that take me on lunch dates. They're the ones that buy me flowers and care about me and stuff like that. No, the dudes that are most memorable to them are the ones that they had tons of fun with. And then the guy just instantly ghosted them and never gave them the closure or explained why they did that. Like, those are the guys that they care most about. But let's continue on to the next video, and I'm kind of losing my voice here. I just recorded a video right before this one as well, so I'm going to schedule them in, but my voice is dying a bit, boys, so bear with me.
I can't wait to get my hand.
But what I will say about that as well, but on family and stuff like that, guys have a lot more time for that. Guys are on a far less stressful timeline if you're trying to have a family and stuff like that. The women are on much shorter of a timeline for that one.
I can't wait to get my hands on this food.
So this one is titled, When a Stupid Boy Breaks Your Best Friend's Heart.
I can't wait to get my hands on this food. Come on out, cuz!
Right, cut it out. You're gonna make it mad.
I don't give a fuck, Keisha. He should be worried about making Ray Ray mad up in here, bitch. I can't.
This is what we were talking about earlier, right? Where girls give each other advice like, oh yeah, babe, he's no good for you. If he does anything bad, I'm going to do something, right? And the friend will never leave. Like, these girls will never, the dudes that are treating them poorly, that, don't quote, don't commit to them, which girls often conflate for one and the same, right? Not committing is equals treating poorly, in their minds at least. Like, the girls are going to get all really mad about it to each other, like, oh, why are you still seeing that guy? What do you see in him? And the parents are going to say the exact same thing. We did a video, it could be the one before this or after this, depending on how I schedule it into YouTube, guys, but where the father was explaining, hey, if you want to date my daughter, here's some things you need to do, right? And the thing about that is, girls will often give each other the same advice, but you know what? They all ignore it. Because they all want to, they all want to have fun with the dude who they want to be the one that changes him. Let's continue on to the next video. We're going to be wrapping up today's show shortly, gentlemen.
This is why I suggest not to get caught up on physical looks when praying, when manifesting your soulmate, twin flame, whatever it is.
This one is titled, up the top it says, Manifesting Soulmate /TF Hack.
You can do whatever you want. This is just my opinion. You might be telling yourself that you want A, B, and C, and then you get A, B, and C exactly how you thought you wanted them to look, but their personality is like, and the energy, it's off. There's a difference between outward appearance and attraction. Who we are attracted to sometimes can surprise us because it's not the usual wrapping paper that we like or that.
Yeah, I mean, because, you know, there might be a guy out there who doesn't validate you, but he doesn't look fantastic. It's interesting to see when women will often say this line, right? They'll say, I don't know why I was attracted to him, you know, and stuff like that. And the guy will not look, you know, maybe he's not buff or anything. Maybe he's not super tall, right? And girls will get into situations with dudes for multiple reasons, okay? One of them is obviously they need like a, for lack of better word, and I hate to use this word, but like a beta provider, right? So they'll need a guy to take care of the bills and be that security and stuff like that. And then they'll get with dudes because they're physically attractive and, you know, they want to have that fun. And then they'll also get with dudes because the guy isn't giving them validation. Right, those are like the kind of like three primary ways, at least in my mind. Let me know what you guys think that girls get with dudes. So when girls say, "Oh, he's not my usual," I don't know what I see in him. I don't know why I like him so much. He's not the best looking and stuff like that. It's usually because the guy's not validating them, and it hurts their ego.
Or that we think that we will like. I don't think God is going to play a joke on us and be like, here's the perfect person for you. They have everything, but they're ugly. That doesn't make sense. Showing up as the energy you want to attract, that is going to make it so much easier to get that person. You don't have to limit yourself by they have to look like A, B, and C because we don't know.
I mean, you have no idea. Like, even if there is no such thing as a perfect guy to a girl, right? Because some of these things are mutually exclusive, right? They want a guy who just absolutely dominates, but at the same time, they want a guy who's sweet, gentle, and caring. They want a guy who looks absolutely fantastic, right? But, you know, like they want things that are like they're mutually exclusive, right? They want a guy that just doesn't give a crap about her, that goes out and dominates the world and shows other people what he means, and, you know, who has a powerful presence, right? But at the same time, they want a guy who will turn around and pet a kitten if it looks a little bit sad. Like, they have no idea what the hell they want, and oftentimes, you know, if they do know what they want, which is, oh, maybe I need some stability here, it's not like they actually want it, right? They'll take a guy who will be a sucker for them and be their life insurance policy, which is what marriage is, by the way. But they're not gonna want him, right? They're not gonna want to be his wife or anything like that. They'll step out. Please believe me, they'll step out of the relationship a lot of times. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's show there. No Reddit stories. There was plenty of videos for you that you guys have sent in to go over. But we probably will be going over Reddit stories on the next video that you guys have sent in. But we will have to see. But anyway, gentlemen, we're going to leave today's show there. As always, if you enjoyed, guys, make sure you come and join the locals link in the description. It's totally free to join. And also, if you're interested in supporting, there is also a support option over there, but do not feel pressured to at all. If anything happens to this channel via YouTube or anything like that, you know, YouTube is not a fan of channels like this, if you weren't aware. We have already gotten a couple of warnings, actually, guys. Make sure you're over on locals just in case anything happens. And otherwise, we're going to be leaving it there as I pull up the wrong screen. But guys, make sure you take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you boys in the next video. Peace.